Good evening. Doing some Avara development tonight. Let me just let's see. I want to share the stream real quick before I get underway. Okay. All right. So, I am working on refactoring asset loading and unloading and sort of, working on or gearing up to work on some sort of rudimentary package management and asset distribution and working on making it so that we can sort of remove assets from the main repo and but right now my main focus is on just cleaning things up because we have this existing file. I mean, stuff is kind of littered all over the place. We've got let's see if I can find things. I guess a lot of stuff would be in level loader probably. We're certainly we have this get alf path function and that's maybe not the best example because I'm probably not going to really refactor this so much, but there's a lot of code in this compat resource library. This is the header file here, and originally when this was created, it was to provide utilities for looking into the resource fork for Avara's old formats, and most of them have been replaced with new formats, and we're really going to the resource fork for very few things at this point. And so ultimately, I would love to sunset it, but the point is that this file has changed a lot over time, and there's all these functions in here that do very similar things, and really could be cleaned up a lot because there's just a lot of redundancy, and I think just it could just use a refactor. So I've created a new source directory called assets, and I'm going to have an asset manager that kind of manages the context of what ultimately kind of the state that we were previously storing in resource dot, well, in this case it's dot cpp, but where we keep track of like the current base directory, the current level directory. So actually, to backtrack, so this is either pointing to Avara or to Aftershock essentially, and this is pointing to a level set. And recently I added this external package directories list because I added the ability to require for a level set to require another level set and kind of insert another layer between the base package and the current package. And so that's partially motivating these changes as well. And so Asset Manager is kind of, managing these states. And so, this like use base folder, add external package, clear external package, use level folder. Okay, we'll skip over all this resource fork stuff. A bundle path, which converts, sort of relative paths to a full path, and is really just kind of a little bit extraneous, I guess. It has this Windows hack in here, but I don't know. It just seems like there's maybe cleaner ways to do some of the stuff. Avara directory list entry and level delisting and like all this stuff, I think, is just dynamically populating the level list. I will probably not put that in Asset Manager. I will probably create a some sort of level list abstract class, essentially, that acts as a interface and have like a local level listing implementation of it that could eventually be replaced by a remote level listing thing that accesses some API on a web server somewhere that keeps track of all the level sets, or uses some other mechanism, but have it a little bit abstracted. But then, there's just a bunch of different functions that do some small operations, and they're all kind of interconnected, and like this just loads LEDI from the set manifest, or retrieves it. That stuff isn't getting cached at all, and I think this isn't technically safe. Like, I think if a level set did not have an LEDI resource, this would probably throw an exception or something, possibly. So, just wanting to clean things up a bit. And so where I left off kind of shortly before hopping on stream was I was working on formally defining the package manifest level format that takes a JSON object and converts it into a list of package requirements, a list of level a level list basically. Um, the sound metadata, the whole resources. Um, so I'm currently working on extracting these because I've already got code in place for converting JSON into package requirements and level directories here. So um, let's next on the list sound metadata. So I believe this one may not actually have. Okay, it actually does. Never mind. Yeah. So HSND. I kind of wonder if this is case sensitive. I may have to investigate that because I would like to make it case insensitive. But anyway, so we're going to iterate through all of the items in the HSND list. And HSND record. Okay. Well, I'm gonna rename this, I guess. I don't know. I should just bite the bullet and rename all of these, probably. I'll just call it item. Make it as generic as possible. Okay. HSND record is defined here. So, I think I wonder if I'm just trying to think of what the sane defaults would be for this kind of thing. But or if it's defined anywhere. So let me look for HSND record in the source and see if we have defaults listed anywhere. Really only used here. Gosh, that's even using the. Oh, that's just load sample legacy? Sorry, I'm going to step away for just a second. I've got to use the restroom, but I'll be right back. I have returned. Now let's solve this mystery. Because I think if this is in load sample legacy, then I don't think it's actually being used. So we may not be using this type anymore, even though I'm sure we're still reading the same data in. Okay, so this is. Oh, okay, because there's a separate impl. Gotcha. That's short for implementation, y'all. Okay, so that's not really being called anywhere. So I probably actually just need to look at if we have any defaults defined in here somewhere. Let's see. That would be, or maybe it would be under sample header from set JSON, I guess. But it's a sample header, not HSND record, so I may have to change that. Let's see here. Yes, it gets the HSND from there. No default defined. No default defined, but presumably. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what. Oh. Shoot. I'm not sure what the JSON library returns if there's no. If it does just throw an exception, or if it just returns null or something, and then gets implicitly converted to 0. Here and here. Yeah, part of the problem is I don't really understand what this is doing with the handle here. Sample header handle sample header handle. So ultimately that is what is being built. Now I'm confused though. Why? We have the sample header handle, and then we have a pointer to that handle, but then we modify the data from the pointer and not directly on the sample header handle. Okay, yeah, I mean that's just what a confusing. This doesn't even have. Okay, it's because these reference. Uh, the next. Hmm. The next sample in the list. So. Uh. Okay, so I'm definitely having trouble just because I don't understand really how the sample stuff is structured internally. Um, so that was part of. Where did I see that? That was under. Load OGG file? Was that where it was? It doesn't. It doesn't seem to be loading the resource here. Load sample header from set JSON. When does that get called? Sound Hub. Because I feel like I could still use HSND record, much like it's being used here. But still, essentially read from that record, have SoundHub read from that record instead of having it in, this load sample header from set JSON function. Just kind of have it construct the sample header from that HSND record, much like it's doing here. And in fact, maybe we just rename this to would rename that to load sample, get rid of the existing load sample, but have it instead of doing this get resource thing, have it grab it from the HSND record that Asset Manager stores to compose the sample header stuff. So that might be the way to go, because really, yes, I mean, the HSND record is what we are currently storing in here. We have the resource ID, which I think is not technically part of that, but then there's the version number, loop start, loop end, loop count, version number, loop start, loop end, no count, data offset, in base rate. Data offset base rate. I'm not... Wave we can ignore. Aug is new. Although I'm not even sure if that is required because we obviously have the ID there. I will have to look at what happens here when they get key from set JSON. Okay, so this is the only place. So if we're not using it here, then okay, so yeah, version, base rate, loop, blah blah blah. So yeah, I think we don't even need that, and it's not using that sound thing either. I'm really confused as to what that could be. It's not part of sample header or anything either. So I have no idea where that comes from. But point being that, you know, it has the set of data is, you know, closer than this is. You know, we don't need the res ID. That's the key of the resource. It's the ref count. I don't know if that's just like reference counting, essentially. You know, if he was doing some sort of reference counting. Length presumably is the I'm not sure actually what that is, but again, it's not part of this metadata, right? Stored in the was stored in the HSND resource. So I wonder, I'm just gonna look for I want to search for sound, not 0, really. But let's see. These are all 0. I guess I can look in... actually, I don't even know if it's visible in the Xcode project. I might need to fire up... Visual Studio Code. Hold on. Okay. So that would be level set to resource. Nope, not that one. I always pick the wrong one. Okay. Just literally just hard code it to 0 here in our converter, so that's useful. That's really strange. I'm not sure what... I guess it was part of the HSND template? Resource template? I guess? I don't know. That's really strange, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So let's just assume that I'm brilliant and we don't need or yes, that we want to store it as a HSND record. Okay. Still don't really have an answer on the defaults. Let's look up the JSON library here. Oh, Jesus, there's a lot of these. Is it, God, something like that? Still 56 of these things. Something about iterators. Okay, so I think it actually does throw if a value is not present based on what I'm seeing here. Hmm. Access specified array. Oh, that's okay. Huh. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just frankly don't understand this code. Let me in oof. This is another great reason to convert from JSON as soon as possible into a type that is we have control over. Okay, I don't know. Let's just maybe. Oh. Hmm. Template. Man. Okay, I mean, this JSON library does provide some serialization and deserialization um, stuff, but I don't know if I want to deal with them necessarily. Okay, let's see here. Curious if I just want a simple answer about that sort of array syntax. Indexing syntax, you know. This really would have been simpler to try to just do some debugging output type BS. just want to know what the default values are. Really, I don't really care about any of this stuff. I wonder if it miraculously is in Yuri's original repo. Nope, this is okay. Okay. What was it? Sound Hub that I found on that. Sample loading stuff. Okay. Get resource. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's a lot of. We don't care if it's uninitialized. Man. Whenever. I mean, this is pretty typical of our code. It seems clear that whatever compiler he was using, the ThinkC compiler, must have always initialized stuff. Because there's so many places in his original code that doesn't initialize anything. So, I don't know, man. I guess I will set stuff to 0 and we'll see how that goes. So, version number, whatever the hell that means. Okay, we'll say 0. Loop start, loop end, loop count. So we'll do that. Value, what's the value here? Or whatever the name, just version. All right, my cat is making it difficult to work here. Okay, loop start, loop end, loop count. I don't know, I'll just, what's it actually called? Or nope, not there. Here. Capital start. Data offset. Come on, Xcode, keep up. Okay. Base rate. Unsigned fixed. I don't think I've ever seen that. The first time I'm seeing this type. Friggin' no. Something tells me 0 is not a valid default value. Based on what I'm seeing here. So unsigned fixed. UINT 32T. But oh, right. So is there I probably need to call that would probably be under fast mat. What's in here? Is there a there's just 2 fixed. There's not like a 2 unsigned fixed. And so I don't know if I need to be worried about that. If I if it might automatically do the conversion. The bit layout would, I guess, would it be the same? Going from whatever the float value is to fixed. Let me look at oh wait, no, it would be under resource actually. A rate, 2 fixed. He's casting it directly to float, and then so I don't know, I guess I will do the same thing. I'm not sure why he's doing that. I guess maybe in case it's if they pass a string, I guess maybe it handles that case. I'm not sure. Okay, so that was 2 fixed. So I think that'll work, unless the existing code is broken. Okay. Oh, I think I actually need to... Because I actually need the key here. Not just... so let's do... did I do something similar to this? Yeah. Okay. ID item. No matching member function for call to value. Why not? So what's the type here? Over to access. Is this... Did it jump to the right spot? Doesn't seem like it did. Well, let's... I'm gonna look at the documentation here. Hold on. I don't think I can keep this up for much longer. I did not expect to get hung up on all this. I guess... Is it that I don't... need to use value? Maybe. They don't make it especially clear, but I think based on what I'm looking at in the documentation, it's probably yeah. Okay. Yeah, this would work. Okay. So now I have the ID and I have the HSND resource, but I think I wanted to sort of look at using this because I need to convert the key because it's a string. I actually need to convert it into the right type. To make sure that it's 16-bit. Max, is this person say... okay. Right, so I just got to do something similar to this. So I'll say... I'm going to copy that. But I will call it temp ID. So that should convert the string to an integer. And then I need to wait, why in 16? Oh, I see. But I don't really need to do that. So I just need to check to make sure that it is less than int 16 max. Then I do all this, because ultimately if they provide an invalid ID, then I want to ignore whatever the hell they define, because if they just write I don't know, just don't give it a valid number, and just give it a name or something, then I just want to ignore it as invalid. Okay, so now I will say int 16t. In fact, let me string ID, or actually I'll say ID string. ID string. ID equals static cast int 16t. Okay, so now I just need to add it to the HSND resources map here. I forget how to add a item in the map. Is it just in place? Is that what it is? It sounds like that would not replace what is currently there if I'm confused. Just insert no? Does nothing if the key exists, but what about I mean, I don't know that this even necessarily matters because the JSON JSON reader may even, you know, disallow the duplicate keys in the first place. But um, uh, careful use. Okay, so I think I could actually do that may actually be sufficient. Although I'm not sure if that replaces stuff. Move only types. Damn it, maybe slightly more efficient. I suppose it's not really used that way. Found. Oh. Hold on a sec. It looks like there's okay, actually I think I want insert or assign. And it looks like I just do it like that. Let me double check to make sure. Yeah. All right, so I think that will work. Okay, well that was a mess. Let's not do that again. Oh, that's right. I did want to see if I could figure out real quick. Terms of parameters. JSON value case. Okay, it does seem like, at least as of September 2021, that it is case sensitive, which is annoying. He provides a example of how you might make it case insensitive by essentially extending standard map and doing a bunch of crap that I'm not going to do. So, okay. So now I'm going to do something very similar for whole resources, and then I'm probably going to call it a night. Okay, so I still need to do the same dance with the ID. Whole config record. Ooh. Whole. What is it? Instead of whole, just whole resources actually. Whole, and then I'm going to replace all this with stuff. So here, I'm pretty sure there's probably a load whole from JSON thing somewhere. Just there we go. So I'm just gonna rip that right out. Okay, so this does need a change because we ain't using pointers. If I did, I would be using unique pointers or shared pointers or whatever. Okay, so instead of whole JSON, it would be raw whole. So we'll go ahead and do that everywhere. And then I'm going to do this instead. Stylistically, let me double check to make sure that those are short. So those, oh, whoops, wrong thing. Whole, max missiles, max grenades, max boosters are all short. Which, honestly, probably ought to be replaced with the explicit bit width types, but that's okay. Because I'm actually not sure how many bits wide short is. Probably 8, I guess. But okay. Oh, is it really lowercase? Because that ain't great. Apparently it is. Real cool. Okay. May have to fix case sensitivity as part of this project. We'll see. Um, by which I mean not actually fix case sensitivity, but just make these consistent title case and not, you know, some words are randomly not capitalized. I'm going to be right back. Okay, well, I certainly didn't expect to sit here and work on package manifest stuff all stream. um, but that's how things went today. But the good news is, I think that that's done, and we can now construct a nice package manifest file from JSON object. Um, and so let me maybe talk a bit about before I go to bed. Just I can maybe run through what I have so far for Asset Manager, which is not very much, to be honest, but kind of give you the rundown on what I'm thinking here. So um, I think uh, actually, yeah, we're good here. Okay, so looking at the header here, this stuff is all stuff I moved over from resource.h. I have this enum or enum defined for base package. So it could be either Avara or Aftershock. I have a type def here for something that's maybe a package, with the intent being essentially, I have it documented here. If there is no package name, well, tell you what, we'll get there. We'll get there in a second. But essentially, it's a type that may be a string, or maybe not a string. Maybe just nothing, because that can be a valid um, possibility if the asset belongs to the base package and not an external level set or whatever. And then I also have this like no package value defined, which is essentially just the none variant of an optional. Here I have an asset that can be whose data attribute can be anything, and we'll talk about that, I guess, in a little bit. And that asset can be, again, associated with a package, the default being no package. But if it belongs to a level set, this would be a string value instead. Then I have this asset cache, which really is just a map of a resource ID and an asset. So that can be used for BSPs or sound files. And so in this case, there's a integer ID for the resource, because everything, at least BSPs and sounds, are referenced by their IDs, their resource ID, which is numeric, and so yes, we have a cache word that stores that resource ID and then some sort of data type. In the case of BSPs, it's JSON, because our model format is a JSON format. And then in the case of sounds, right now it's a vector of samples to store the OGG data. But I think I'm actually going to expand this to not just be the sample data, but also some sort of another type that combines the sample data in one field, and then the other field is maybe even just a pointer to that HSND resource in its sets manifest file, potentially. So let's see here. The asset cache also has a method for removing anything from its internal list of cached assets if the package associated with that asset matches anything in the passed in package list. So in the case of, for example, when you call switch base package, it creates a package list that is just the no package variant, and then it goes through the BSP cache and removes any asset that is associated with that base package. The same thing with the sound cache, and then it remembers, okay, this is the new base package. So let's see. So I still need to the code for handling the base package stuff is basically done. And I have, a get base package path that builds out the file system path to the correct resource directory for the base package. That will come in handy later. Again, right now we're not actually loading anything. We're just setting context, essentially. but that will change in the future. I will have a similar method for retrieving package paths for level sets and whatnot, and then eventually methods for loading files at on those paths, along those paths, and storing them in the appropriate caches. Caches that I haven't yet defined here. So I have this external packages deck here that will essentially store the list of dependencies, including the currently loaded level set. And really, I'm going to the currently loaded level set will be the last item of the deck. And then as you get closer to the front, you're listing various dependencies that set may have, or its dependencies may have. So the idea getting to be that, on one hand, on one end, you essentially have the base package implicitly at the very front, and then the level set at the very end. And, in the case of default.avara script, you run the base package script first, and then get closer and closer to finally at the very end loading the level sets Avara script file. And in the case of when we're looking up resources in the set manifests, or even that aren't necessarily in the manifests, like the BSP resources, that we actually search from the other direction. We start at the level set, see if it's there, and then if not, we fall back all the way to the base package level. So depending on the type of asset where, it changes what direction you look in, but ultimately, you essentially have this hierarchy. And so here I'm just storing, a list of package names, essentially. But I'm also going to store these package manifest objects that we just defined, as well as the Avara script files for those packages, and those will all be in separate vector, or actually not vectors, maps that map the name to the resource. So it's a different structure than the asset cache, but essentially the ordering is stored here, and all the other stuff will be stored in maps that I have not yet defined. But I'll go ahead and do that real quick. So oh wait, no, I have to do the key name first, and then package manifest, which I think I actually have to include in this. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So there's that. And then the Avara script files will just be stored as strings, really. And those would be, I don't know, I'll just call it the Avara script cache. Why not? So hopefully that all makes sense. and I don't seem overly insane. But yeah, that's the general idea. Um, and like I said, there's other stuff, other classes that I haven't even defined yet that I have planned, like the for the uh, retrieving the list of sets that you have available to you on your local file system, or eventually a remote somewhere. Um, so, uh, yeah, I guess that's all I have to talk about tonight. And I'm gonna head to bed, but hopefully I will get to continue working on this throughout the week. Um, Maybe even stream some more of it. But no, if not, well, enjoy the preview. Uh, I suppose. Is this okay? Yeah, that's just. All right. Well, that's all. That's all for tonight. All right. Good night.